Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the AWS Public Sector Summit. Thank you so much for being here this morning. My name is Isabella Mayer, and I'm going to be your room host this morning. A couple notes that I want to just make sure I ask: please silence your cell phones, and if for any reason you do need to be on your computer, please be sure to sit in the very back of the room. The restrooms are located directly across the hallway, and please be sure to download the app if you haven't already done so, and please share your feedback on this session so that we can make notes for next year. And then for this morning's partner discussion, please welcome our moderator, Jane Lacey.
Good morning. Thank you, Isabella. Good morning, everybody. I hope that day one yesterday was good for you, informative, and it's what you were looking for in our Worldwide Public Sector Summit. If not, don't see me afterwards. No, honestly, please let us know. We encourage the feedback. We want to do better in all the events that we put on here in DC. So welcome. Good morning. My name is Jane Lacey. I am the senior manager for the partner advancement team in the public sector organization. I've been with Amazon, very fortunate, for 7.5 years. Brought on board to put some contracts in place because we had none when we started our public sector business. And as all of you in this audience know, we can't even hit go without some contract pathways. Fortunate to have these incredible partners up here, partners in this audience. I moved on to start the Emerging Partner Organization because that's who was winning those awards. And you are still winning those awards, of which we are very proud of. So welcome. It's going to be a great 50 minutes. We want to keep it light. It's 9 a.m. and you've got a whole nother day ahead of you. So with that, I'm going to get some audience participation here, and if at the end, if we still have some time or a few minutes, there is a mic in the middle of the room. If you have a burning question that you want to ask the panel, I'll ask that you come up to the mic. If we run out of time, my team, the partner programs team, as well as my panelists, will stay for a few minutes outside the room to be happy to answer any questions. So, how many of you, show of hands, are already an AWS public sector partner? Awesome. We're friends, right? It's all good. Of those, how many are a consulting partner? Okay. And then I assume the rest of you are technology partners? Nobody's technology? Who's technology? There you go. Okay. Got to make sure you're awake. All right. Okay. Thank you. All right, so we're going to get started with Miss Lori. I'm going to introduce the company, and then she will introduce herself. Better get my glasses out here. Okay. Apt Associates, Ms. Lori Hunter. They are a global research and technical services firm named for Clark Apt. He was the founder and pioneer in the public services industry. Apt provides research, service delivery, monitoring, and evaluation across the public domain, addressing education, environment, agriculture, justice, health, and housing. Customers include U.S. federal civilian agencies, state and local government, education, and nonprofits. Apt was founded in 1965 in Cambridge, Massachusetts, is employee-owned with 3,000 staff, about 45% U.S.-based. So an awesome global partner. Apt is number 11 among the top 100 women-led business in Massachusetts, yay. A Washington Technology Top 100 company, a 2017 USAID Large Business Contractor of the Year award winner, a top 20 marketing research firm from the American Marketing Association, and a pinnacle winner of the Massachusetts ECO Awards from the Massachusetts Department of Transportation. Quite a lengthy resume, and we're very fortunate to have Ms. Lori Hunter. Lori, would you please introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Lori Hunter. I've been at Apt for almost 3 years now, and I have my peanut gallery in the front here. And I am in charge of the domestic line of business for federal, civilian, and state and local government technology, delivery of technology, enabling technology. And we do a lot of, like you said, a lot of federal, state, local government monitoring and evaluation, technical assistance, data collection, surveys, We're moving into a lot of AI, ML, and AWS is helping us get there. So hopefully this will help you guys too.
Awesome. Thank you, Lori. All right. And next to Lori is Chris Carlson with Northwoods. I'm terrible with names and faces, and my whole team knows this, so I've been prepping really well with these guys. Northwoods is a select AWS GovTech partner, and so a technology partner, all right? APT is a consulting partner. Just we're trying to do some learning here today. A GovTech partner with the public sector partner designation. We're going to talk a lot about programs today. Northwoods develops customized, high-tech software solutions for the adult and aging, child support, child welfare, and economic assistance. Northwoods designs solutions around you, the customer. They offer user-centric software created from their own human services experience. It is built for engagement, efficiency, and service delivery. With nearly 45,000 social workers and caseworkers across the country using Northwoods solutions to manage, collect, view, and share content and data more efficiently, which saves them up to 2 hours a day. Workers repurpose that time to do more high-value work with clients. As a result, agencies improve service delivery, maximize productivity, make informed decisions, and achieve better outcomes. Chris, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Chris Carlson. I've been with Northwoods since 2007. Northwoods has been in existence since 2003. I came on in 2007 as general counsel, so I'm a lawyer. Sorry about that. My peanut gallery's in the back, which is where they belong. I've been chief operating officer at Northwoods, and most recently I've transitioned to chief government affairs officer. But I've really seen the kind of big arc of our company, the big growth arc of our company, and what we do. We remain and have year on year in strategic planning remained dedicated to and focused on the governmental human services industry and space or market segment. And all of our solutions and all of our efforts are about delivering innovation in that sector.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And next to Chris is Brendan Caulfield from Server Central Touring Group. Server Central Touring Group is an advanced AWS consulting partner. They've achieved their audited managed service provider program within public, and they are also a public sector partner designation. Server Central Touring Group offers public cloud guidance, strategy, management, and application development, in addition to core managed data center, private cloud, and managed IT services. This comprehensive service catalog is a product of the company's combined areas of expertise. Server Central Touring Group provides world-class AWS managed services, allowing customers to take advantage of the transformative power of the AWS cloud while focusing on their core business. Brendan, tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Brendan Caulfield. As Jane sort of alluded to, Server Central Touring Group is the result of a merger between two companies, Server Central and Touring Group. I'm one of the original founders of Touring Group. We started that business in 2013. Focused on building a services firm around Amazon Web Services. We saw a large disruption in the marketplace and thought it was a advantageous time to get into it. So we've been in the public sector program since about 2014 and have kind of grown up with the team on the public sector side. And I am so obviously a co-founder, chief revenue officer, and a partner in the firm.
Awesome. Thank you, Brendan. And last but certainly not least, Tom with Tyler Technologies. So acquired by Tyler Technologies in 2018, Socrata and Tyler form a perfect alliance, joining Socrata's focus on accelerating the shift to digital government with Tyler's mission to transform state and local government to create safer, smarter, and more vibrant communities. They are the market leader in government transparency solutions and are developed 100% on AWS. They make government data discoverable, usable, and actionable. I know those three words should not even be in that sentence, right? But that's where we're headed. That's where we're headed in this world for public sector agencies and the people that they serve. Together, they represent more than 21,000 successful installations across 10,000 sites. with clients in all 50 states, Canada, the European Union, Caribbean, Australia, and other international locations. Tyler Technology is one of AWS's longest-standing technology partners, having achieved the Advanced Amazon Partner Network and Government Competency Accreditation in 2014. Tyler was named to Forbes' Best Mid-Size Employers list in 2018 and recognized twice on its Most Innovative Growth Companies list. Tom, please introduce yourself.
Sure. Tom Williams. I'm the Vice President of Alliance and Channels at Tyler Data and Insights Division, formerly Socrata. My primary focus is to align as tightly as possible around AWS and the go-to-market strategies and broaden our speed, or increase our speed to market through the programs that AWS offers. Beyond the AWS relationship, I also manage the recruitment and management of our SI partners, which is a big focus for our organization, is getting our tools in the hands of the trusted advisors within government. And I would be remiss, without all due respect to my panelists, without giving a shout out. I do have the best partner team on the planet. So for Melissa, Deanna, Jeff, Naomi, you guys are the backbone of what we do here.
Awesome, thank you.
I need to revise my statement.
No takebacks, no takebacks. All right, today, this morning's panel really is about, we've grown so fast at AWS, which we're of course very blessed for with the adoption within the public sector. And it's Tom's been here around since 2014 in the utilization of partner programs, and then all the way through the panel, this incredible experience in public sector. And as all of you in this room know, public sector, there are many, many challenges to overcome in how they buy, how they procure. They're used to buying boxes. They're used to capital expense. That's what we've been doing for decades, right? So these four, along with you in this room and in this building, have been working these challenges now for quite some time. I think it's important. Many of my partners ask me every day, how do you overcome these utility, pay-as-you-go challenges that we're seeing in this place? So Tom, I'd like to start with you. How did Tyler Technologies and/or Socrata overcome the early day challenges of even entering into this space with a utility-based or through the technology that you've created? And how did you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, I think that what I would say is that there's a human element to that, and then I think that there's a programmatic element to that. I think just the human element of that is that you have to enter into any relationship, not just the relationship with AWS, in full transparency. If you can't share pipelines with your partner, then there's a problem there. You need to establish trust, and it takes time to establish trust. And so I think the approach that we took was really a 2-year plan. It takes you 2 years to get to where you need to get to, but you need to commit to that timeline. Be transparent. And you'll see that pay back multifold if you're able to do that. You have hard conversations, you get it out on the table, you solve problems, and you move on. The second part of it is I think that, universally, both my team and the AWS team, we've all come from different places. We all have different experiences. I've been doing this for quite some time and have lots of experiences that I've taken from Microsoft and Salesforce and IBM, Intel, other platform providers. What's interesting about this relationship is that we've really said, how do we approach this now, in this time, at this point in the market, and at this point in our evolution, and really taking some of that experience and saying, well, don't take just what we did at the last job and try and repurpose that here. How do we address the problems today in a new way, knowing some things that we've done before, we've made some mistakes before, and we had some success, but really looking at this time, this market conditions, this partnership, and really taking a fresh approach to that. And I think that's really, it's fun. I mean, it makes it certainly way more interesting than just the usual playbook, but I think that also has opened up a tremendous amount of opportunity for us.
That's really good advice, Tom. I see that in my everyday business as well, in helping partners to develop. We all have skills from years in our other industries and other positions that we held, and this really is a new day. This is a new day from a technology. It's a new day in how to go to market. So Tom, those are really good words of wisdom. Brendan, from a consulting perspective, what challenges have you had to overcome in this public sector market, this utility-based sale in the consulting world?
So we started early, as you know. We've been an AWS partner since 2013 and focused heavily on the public sector since about 2014. Our first public sector deal, I think we had the whole partner team in Chicago negotiating with us, which was
I think there was just 2 of us or
Jane.
1 of us. In the dead of winter, mind you. So
Yeah.
does that show dedication?
So I think for us, and I can echo a lot of what Tom said about the time it takes, and when we started, there weren't a lot of programs, right? We didn't have PTP, we didn't have all these sort of fancy acronyms, right? And those things matter. They matter a lot, and I see them today. And working with my partner team, I see a tremendous amount of value. Also, a good partner team, Mike, Martin, wherever you're at. Super guy.
Those checks will be cut later, thank you.
But really, for us to sort of overcome, and we didn't have a deep history in the public sector, right? So, I say like the PTP and all these programs, they really do matter, and I think they're great for those that are kind of just getting started. What I think actually matters a lot more is the people and the relationships, right? So over the years, we've relied on our various PDMs. We've relied on Jane and her team and the capture team, and like I said, I think within this sort of ecosystem, this part of the AWS family, like the support you're going to get from Jane and her team and the other teams that sort of surround them is pretty critical, and the way we've overcome and gotten beyond challenges along the way is really leaning on the AWS partner team to sort of guide us through. If we didn't have them and we didn't have those relationships, then I think it would have been a huge struggle for us. But for those partners here that are kind of new to the ecosystem, I would say rely on your PDMs and build as solid a relationships as you can across the WWPS organization, because they're truly the most valuable part that we've found since day one. So
Great, thank you, Brendan. Chris, another technology partner. How have you overcome those public sector, boulders that sit in the way of you becoming an awesome AWS partner?
As I said, Northwoods has been in existence since '03, and really had been delivering, again, to governmental human services agencies from our inception. And with that, our applications and what we had developed were very reliant on those servers that the state and county agencies love to hug and care and feed for and pet at night. And as we were seeing what more could be done for this market segment, and we, like AWS, we start first and foremost with our customers. We are completely consumed by the problems of that market segment, and do nothing but focus on that. As we were falling in love with those problems and evaluating ways to address the challenges of these agencies, particularly the challenges of a child welfare worker who's out in the world dealing with a case of abuse and neglect, or working with a family to try to keep them unified, or working in the foster care system. We recognize that agility and the need to be able to get these solutions up and optimized quickly, not relying on the IT infrastructure at the agencies, not being dragged down by that, and also the cost that's associated with that. The cost not only in the equipment that they're buying on their side, but the people that they had to have. And again, a lot of these are child welfare agencies, which are not advanced technology companies. So as we were looking for what could be brought to bear, we started working with AWS more initially, really out of a utility, right? It's a utility for us. We could host our applications in AWS and get them out of the server game. But in working with our partners, our partner development managers and the people here at AWS, the more we got involved, and the more we shared our mission and what we were doing and how we wanted to make a difference in our market with the folks here at AWS, the more they embraced that mission with us. And as these guys have said, were then invaluable in helping us navigate this huge and ever-growing set of, I'll say, tools and services and all of the things that can be brought to bear for those problems in our market segment, and I would say in your market segment. So I think for us, starting with our market, starting with those problems, led us to AWS. But then as we got more and more partnered with AWS, it really an extraordinary thing when this group of really outstanding people not only share their passion and in what you're doing and trying to help you do it better, but all the things, all the tools, all the opportunities within AWS to support you in the growth of your company. Really an extraordinary partnership, and we look forward to it.
Awesome.
For years to come.
Thank you, Chris. And as you know, we're all public sector in this room. I mean, the passion for this business segment is just phenomenal. I mean, that's why I've been in this space for a very long time, and clearly this panel as well. Lori, a traditional consulting partner with the federal government for many years, how does Apt Associates transform to become an AWS partner successfully and overcome those utility type challenges that you've seen in coming from the old school into this new age of utility pay-as-you-go in the slog of federal government and how they issue a PO for everything?
So I think your point is correct, where it's like coming from the old school into the new school. I think Apt Associates has not necessarily been known as a technology partner. We often get that "I didn't know Apt did that" phrase back to us because they understand us as a research firm, as an evaluation firm, and so we've sort of pushed that envelope. We use AWS in two different ways at our organization. We have it supporting our back-end infrastructure through another AWS partner, LogicWorks, and we've worked with them for about 3 years now, moving us from on-prem into the cloud. And they sort of helped us through all that. And I think that's where we started talking with AWS. We had that sort of conversation there. And then we started using it for delivering on our federal government projects, right? So, when you go out and you bid on the RFP and you say you're going to host a website, you're going to host a web-based application, data collection system, all of those are now hosted within AWS. And so we had to, I joke, it's two guys in a basement that sort of started this whole thing, right? They put together an idea to use AWS, and then everything sort of went into the same bucket, and it got to a really big bucket and started overflowing, and we didn't know how to build a government for that. And so, over time, working with Nick, we figured it all out. Going in and doing we do a QBR, we went in for the executive briefings in Seattle, do it all. I mean, absolutely 100%, hook, line, and sinker, go all the way. Otherwise, you're not going to get all the great services. Like you said, I mean, it's a relationship. You're building this relationship. You're learning how to get along with each other. There's bumps along the way, just like any good relationship. You fight with each other. You make up. Everything's fine. No, seriously, it's really a good opportunity to figure out where you're doing things wrong, and they can help you. But it's also good for us to sort of maybe point out where AWS is doing things wrong, or different, and maybe switch it a little bit to work better with us.
Thank you, and that's an excellent segue into our partner programs. We have many people working so hard at trying to create just that right program that will help our partner community to advance themselves. And oftentimes, I mean, we're known as being a self-serve organization. Clearly, you can go to our website and spend days there, right, trying to self-serve. But many of the AWS resources, we're trying to help everybody, but when we can't, we have that self-serve. And Lori talked about how they partner with yet another AWS partner for some of their needs. For others, they don't. And so that leads me to a program that we offer, which is Partner Connections, as an example. Like I said when I introduced myself, the contract pathway. Many of you don't want to prime a contract or don't have the RFP team that can help on those responses. We can help align you to a partner or maybe a technology company that already has the technology built on AWS but need those contract pathways. So we work to partner you with other AWS partners. But subsequent to that, there are many other programs. Lori, what do you think, if you could name one or a couple The relationship is key, as you said. But do you think is it necessary to take advantage of these partner programs, or is it just kind of, all right, it's another 100 things that we could do, doesn't really get us anything? What is your experience with partner programs?
I mean, I think that it really depends on what your goal in the whole organization is. I mean, if you're trying to, break into a new market, do new things, just sort of like we are, putting ourselves out there from a technology perspective, I think it's important to, like I said, have your eye on the prize. Where are you trying to be in the next 2 years, the next 3 years, the next 5 years? Because that's really how fast things move. And what are the steps to get you there? What does your roadmap look like? And then, who's going to help you get there? And you bring those friends along with you, and you go the whole way in there. And I would say that for us, I definitely think that it's an all or nothing kind of thing. I mean, you guys are really helping us knock on doors, because they know AWS. Who isn't going to want AWS to come in, right? So you're helping us get into some of the government organizations that maybe we wouldn't have had a chance to get into. You're finding things in the state organizations that maybe we wouldn't have found.
Right.
And partnering us with other partners to build cool tools, that kind of thing.
The innovation really does lead partners to partners, because I haven't found a partner that can do it all, although I keep searching for that one.
We can.
There you go. Okay. See, good panel.
She's just being coy.
Chris, what programs have you been able to take advantage of at Northwoods that may have helped you to scale possibly, or to further your initiatives at Northwoods?
Well, I'll probably get some of the names wrong.
That's okay.
But in working with Daryl and the team, certainly we've been taking advantage more recently of the marketing development funds. That has been very helpful. There have been some partnerships we've had at our biggest national conference that we attend to partner with AWS. And as Lori said, when you're a medium-sized business in this kind of niche, in this niche market segment, to be able to be arm in arm with AWS and to leverage their name, to leverage the kind of exposure that brings has been very important for us. And then even more, our more technical teams, really, as we're developing our solutions and developing the technologies that are necessary to answer some of these market questions, being able to navigate into the services and some of the more high-level AIs and different things that AWS seems to be constantly bringing on and constantly bringing into the fold, into the mix. Being able to evaluate how those fit in with our architecture and fit in with our products has been really, really helpful to us. So again, whether that's a particular program or whether that's just working with a great partner manager is.
It's a little of both, I think. Marketing development funds are available, of course, and we want to help with that go-to-market. Same with POC funding or proof of concept funding. I think each of you would agree that, to get somebody to just test it out, right? To get a good feel for, yep, this thing really does work. This technology works in my space. So we really try to make the funding, the marketing funding, and the proof of concept funding available to everybody so that they can get their customers onboarded. Brendan, as an audited MSP, is that really the go-to program that's really gotten Server Central Touring Group on the map, or have other programs, do you think?
It's an interesting question, and since you first asked us, how do I answer this? And then, as we're sort of in front of a room of partners that want to start achieving better and more things on AWS, I'll tell you that I'm not here because we're perfect by any means. Like unlike some of these guys, we founded our business in 2013. We were like the scrappy young kid on the block. We knew the technology really well. For the longest time, I managed so much of the AWS relationship myself, and while I was able to build really, really good relationships within the organization, we kind of made our own path, right? And to some degree, we had to, because we were so early in the game that a lot of the programs that you all can take advantage of today, and I'm a little bit jealous of that, is that just didn't exist then, right? So, we're not up here as the poster child of doing everything right, and I think my PDM, Mike Martin, would probably agree with that. But we're evolving and we're getting better. We're learning still today how to better take advantage of all the programs that the partner team and AWS have put in place, like MDF and POC and all of that kind of stuff. But back to what you mentioned about the MSP. so MSP was like kind of the first competency we went after, and AWS really pushed us on it. The head of the MSP program back in 2015, I happened to run into her in Las Vegas, and she's like, "No, you got to do it now, right?" And so I was like, "Oh, I guess we'll do it now." And what I would say about that is it's been a tremendous benefit to our business to be an MSP. From a marketing perspective and from a capabilities perspective, but the sort of interesting side benefit, and I think all of you can take advantage of this, is going through that first audit and then the subsequent 4 audits we've gone through. It's been a really good thing for our business, right? Like, if any of you are MSPs or have ever looked at the 3-day audit checklist, which is, it's big, but we emerged from that first, knowing, oh my goodness, there's a lot of things we really need to work on, and we worked on them. We got through it. As a company that was founded in 2013, unlike some of you guys who've been around for a long time, it helped us build a lot of governance. It helped us recognize where there was sort of holes in our operations and holes in our offerings. So. The MSP and the competency programs are really great because they help you sort of establish a presence within the APN, but they're also really great because they actually make you a better business. And I'm sort of endlessly thankful that we did it, because it helped us realize, as a very small group of super techie guys that really knew the technology well, there were a lot of things that we weren't paying attention to that, by extension, Amazon kind of called to our attention, and we became a much better company overnight through that process.
It really secures that governance of your processes and procedures, and it just aligns all the stars, right? So that your path to market then becomes clear. And Brandon really was a technologist first. We turned him into that hardcore business guy after that, I think. But
you can't fake it, right?
Yeah,
like it's too,
right.
There's too much depth there to
do the work,
to skate through. So it's daunting, but it's really valuable. It's good.
And those audits are grueling, but everything that has come out, I think I would agree, other MSPs have told me, it really is a process worthwhile because of the governance and rigor that is extended because of that. Tom, as an advanced technology partner, do you find, or tell me about your journey, that's clearly the top of the tiers from the partner programs perspective for the technology partners, because I know a lot of my partners say, do we really have to do this partner thing? I mean, can't we just register and get on the website? Is that enough? As an advanced technology partner, do you think that that's helped your business, your go-to-market, and I also know at the different tiers of partnership, other programs become open for you to utilize? What other partner programs or getting to this advanced level tier has helped you all to be a better AWS partner?
Yeah, I mean, I think the short answer is unquestionably. I've been doing this for quite some time, and generally look at partner programs somewhat in a jaded fashion. Most of them are there to drive scale and more of a self-serve type of experience. I actually, in an ironic twist, when we first met with AWS, we said, look, we don't, we're 100% built on AWS. We deliver on AWS. We want to be treated like a partner, not like a customer. And we are being treated like a customer, and because we're a big customer. Right. And that's all well and good, but in order to really scale and get to the market, we really needed more of a partnership. And what I will say to their credit is the entire team rallied around that, and now the resources available to us are just phenomenal. The other part of that was, the challenge that I put the first time I met with Steve Gilmer, which I think Steve's in the audience still, is you spend all day building programs, and I spend all day trying to get around them. And it was a bit tongue-in-cheek, but what's interesting is in that conversation, I said, I want the Amazon experience. I want your programs to match my business. I want the things that are relevant to me. I get that you're trying to achieve scale across a large landscape of services providers and technologies, education partners across multiple verticals, but I want that experience to be relevant to my business. And what's really been helpful for me is working with Melissa, my PDM, who I really refer to as the partner whisperer. I don't know all the programs because every week there's 50 more, but what it's awesome is I can come to her with all the crazy ideas and say, look, we had a number of catastrophic events last year in terms of hurricanes and wildfires and what have you. Socrata came to that and said, we want to give away a bunch of software because we think that this is a valuable cause. What do you think? And Melissa said, I love that idea. I don't think we have a program for that, but let me look into it. Came back, turns out giving away software is a pretty good idea. So, so it was just kind of one of those cool things that it doesn't show up on a program per se, but when we were working with the partner team, we were able to kind of bring ideas to the forefront. There's probably a program that this fits in loosely, but I think what's great about it is the agility of those programs to be able to leverage things like MDF, like the pilot programs. There's just a ton. I have, I think beyond that, I have the most optimism around ISV Accelerate. That's really we were one of the initial partners into that program, and what started off as sort of like a matchmaking kind of thing, where we get people to get the reps together so that we're not meeting in the lobbies of our respective clients. Where I'd like to see that get to is a place where we're actually getting in front of that, so that we're putting together reference architectures, not just with AWS, but AWS, our solutions, and then a technology or a services organization, SI or services provider, where we can bring in a much broader solution and come in and attack a much larger problem. We're not there yet, but I really see that as something that's achievable goal.
I love that, because the ISV Accelerate, we've actually modified over and over and over, because as a partner, you are first and foremost our customer. That ISV Accelerate program started out in many different forms many years ago. But listening to our customer, you all, the partner, we've been able to modify and make that program better, more usable. And by all means, if that is the message we take away from this today, let us know. Let us hear from you. If the program's not working, or there isn't one that you can find that meets what you need to help you go to market, let us know. We need and want that feedback. Jill Eastman is in the room. She's going to be available afterwards. She needs that feedback to create awesome programs to help you go to market. So Tom, many of my partners say, Jane, all these technologies, over 165 services, and you keep iterating every day. You keep sending me an email saying, did you know we created this today? Or this new feature functionality. How do you go about as an organization to absorb that information and then determine if I'm going to use it, not going to use it, it's down the road? How do you evaluate? What kind of guidance can you give these folks in the audience to make those decisions? Because it's coming at them 100 miles an hour.
Well, for the first thing I would say is, we're 100% AWS, so I want more. I want all of it. I want all of those services. I want them more, because, this is the partner that we chose. And so if you look at the market position of AWS relative to other cloud services providers, it's not even close. And so, I want to make it, it's daunting. Yes, there's hundreds of services that are being rolled out on an annualized basis, but that's the game. Right? I want to be part of that game, and so trying to be in front of it. So that's the first thing, is that acknowledge that this is a rare opportunity and take advantage of that opportunity, because the way, you want to be in front of that wave. And so that's the first part. The second part is we've made a fairly concerted effort around certifications, and actually made that part of our hiring process. We pay for certifications. It's an $8,000 commitment by the organization. We're able to offset some of the costs through MDF for that. But our developers, when they come in, they go through AWS certifications. It's a career development path for them. It gets them access to advanced technologies. So that's really that awareness is the first part of that, so that when they get into the job and they go to solve problems, the tools that they're reaching for are those that are on the AWS storefront, right? So like that's another part of it. I think the other part of that is taking advantage of just the early access to technologies. As these services get rolled out, they're looking for early adopters, and I want to be part of that. I want to be, the AI ML obviously is overhyped and perhaps undersubscribed, but that's certainly an obvious one to look at. But I think that there's a number of other areas where getting early access to that technology is a way to get in front of that and really drive innovation in the marketplace without having to develop it yourself.
And again, as a partner under NDA, we certainly want to share those product roadmaps with you so that you can be ahead of the game and be ready when they hit the street, right? I'm going to ask Lori to comment from a consulting perspective, but if anybody has a question in the audience, I would ask that you queue up at the mic in the middle, and we'll try to get to a few of those questions before we end here in a few minutes. So Lori, from a consulting practice, clearly you're developing solutions that the government is wanting or needing or has challenges for. And also, again, in the federal government space, they're long tail RFP situations, right? You shape, you try to encourage what you want to steer them towards, right? So how does a consulting partner like APT ingest those new technologies and deal with the long tail of the government procurement cycle in order to give them the best and the latest, but yet it takes 3 years to get there? How does APT overcome that challenge? Because it's a real challenge in this room, and you clearly have overcome it in many ways.
So I think the long tail is more for our USAID work in Africa. We start with an idea that a proposal is going to come out or an RFP is going to drop, and we probably have 2 or 3 years before it actually gets submitted in something, and then we hear back, right? And so being at the forefront of technology with AWS has sort of given us the opportunity to say, hey, there's no hub in Africa. Do you think maybe we might? So
it's the art of the possible.
It's
right.
Who
would have ever thought?
Right. So and being able to understand all of that and work together for that. That's definitely one thing. I had another thought, and it was a really great one, and it's gone. So it must be that it was not that good. But I also think, one of the things that we have done is, we iterate through different things when we're working on projects. We have the HUD Homelessness Data Exchange project, where we've built this huge data collection where all of the continuums of care send in their data from from the United States, and we're collecting it, and we're running all of these formulas on and I think we're at 300,000 formulas now on this data. And at the end of that, there's also now a data presentation layer that we've just built. And we're actually using Lambda for that. And it was like this new, fandangled, fantastic thing. And now we want to go back and change the HDX because we've learned some really cool things with this Lambda. And so that, being in the know is really good. And also pushing you to say, hey, we've got this client that wants to use this tool. It's not FedRAMP. What can you do? And
I think it's a whole nother panel, FedRAMP.
Right.
I think I have a really great story with APT Consulting in that they came out to Seattle for an executive briefing.
Yep.
And, it's a whole host a day of bringing in some of the service team members, resident experts in certain services, et cetera. And just one of those sessions happened to be on SageMaker.
Yes.
And you weren't using SageMaker,
We
probably
weren't.
weren't even talking about it at the time. Nick Spang, their partner manager, thought that'd be something cool, something they could take advantage of or at least be excited about to learn. And it just so happened that it really hit the core.
Yep.
And that individual was going to be in the Boston area the next week, came over, did a half-day workshop or full-day workshop, and hence this new innovation was born that Lori was just referring to. So sometimes I really talk to my partners a lot about the art of the possible. And sometimes it's just the exposure to it. So be open when your partner development manager is talking about programs that are out there. If it doesn't resonate, maybe a piece of it resonates, talk to them about it. How can it be iterated for you? And/or I can't speak highly enough about the executive briefings. We also have partner transformation, which really puts into cloud centers of excellence, a plethora of opportunities for our partners. So I want to, since nobody's at the mic, I want to leave us with one last question. Clearly, all of you on this panel are disruptors. You are the disruptors, most of you, in your own companies. What would you leave this audience as the disruptor, moving boulders to get through the challenges of cloud technology in public sector, a leader in the partner organization? What advice do you have for a new fledgling partner, company that wants to be a partner or get over that next mile? What would you leave them with as to get there?
Don't
Some
stop
good advice.
asking. Don't stop asking. Just keep talking. I mean, talk internally to your C-suite, obviously, and make sure that they're on board with it. And if they're not, just keep poking away at it so that they do get on board with it. But then talking with your partner and really making sure that they understand your business. I think Nick really understands our business. I think he's as passionate about our business as we are. So I think that that's a really good thing for us. And I mean, like I said, it's a relationship. You just got to keep talking.
Great. Thank you, Lori. Chris?
Yeah, we're slightly different in that our business wasn't built around AWS and its services. Our business is gravitated towards and is utilizing more and more the services that AWS provides. For us, and actually one of the nice marriages for us with AWS was, without maybe being quite so articulate about it, really one of the core principles of our company has always been, what is your first core principle, is this kind of customer obsession, right. Being completely focused on our customers, our market segment. And so in doing that, I would echo that having this mission-driven organization, we're a technology company, but we're trying to protect kids and keep families unified and keep kids safer out there in the world, primarily. Being able to share that with your group, with AWS, and having it be embraced by Daryl, by Melissa, by the folks that we come into contact with here, has really helped us see what is possible within AWS, what is possible for us in this market, and in doing things that no one else is doing in our market space. Being completely focused on that space, again, for us, it may be different for other businesses, but one recommendation I would give to you, really, if you're just starting off, is really understand your customer, understand what problems you're trying to solve, what things you're trying to accomplish for them. The more focused and narrow you can be with that, the more creative, I think, you can be with these extraordinary people and all the services that are brought to bear. We're not trying to use all of their services. We're not even trying to use most of the services. What we're trying to use are the services that really make an impact on the delivery for this customer and this market segment and these kids. So that's our recommendation, is kind of focus inward, focus on your market first, and then really get in tight with your AWS people who can help you navigate and do things a lot better.
Awesome. Thank you, Chris. And a question.
Thank you, Jane, for the partners here today. I'm curious as to where you're looking to further expand your business. Where do you see opportunities next, whether that be in new geographies, new segment areas, and things like that?
Thank you. So how are you expanding into other geographies and or verticals, if that's of interest to you? How do you go about that or make those determinations? Brendan? Because clearly you were commercial mostly, and then you ventured into our space. I think you must have got lost in the dark there somewhere.
I know,
We steered you clear.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually a really interesting question, and obviously, I think we're all somewhat commercial businesses insofar as we want to continue to grow and make money, but I hate to keep harping on this relationship thing, and I think we've all said it like 38 times, and it's a really important piece, right? But as we're looking at growth and expansion, obviously we're going to go where the opportunity is, right? And in this particular space, in the public sector space, like nobody knows that better than Jane and Capture and the partner team. So we take a particular interest in the technologies that are quite honestly fun to us, the things that we really, really like to do. We are an engineering first firm. We do things like robo-car challenges using SageMaker because we find those things fun, right? So, so we try to marry up insights that we're getting from our own sort of intelligence about the market, whether that be from a geography perspective, a technology perspective, marry it with what we're hearing from AWS, and then at the end of the day, building on what our core competencies are and really what we enjoy, right? Because quite honestly, if I don't want to be an SAP firm, right? So I know there's a ton of opportunity in that space, but you got to really find your niche and find out what's going to drive you to get up every day and continue building and continue excelling. And there's so much opportunity, particularly in spaces like SLG and education, that you're going to find something where your interests land and marry up with opportunity. So
that's great. That's great advice, Brendan. It really is. What is important to you, your current customer base, what you're good at, and then marrying that up with how can you put AWS, powered by AWS, behind it or underneath it, and then go to market with it, right? Because that space better than us. We're just the core foundation. You guys really bring the rest of it. Tom, let's end with you. What advice do you have for the group here today?
So I think for technology partners, what I can say is that while everyone's business is unique and you make the decisions in terms of the platforms that you support and go to market with, I can tell you that for our organization, being 100% AWS has been incredibly empowering. Not only in terms of the fact that we don't have multiple code streams, but we don't have multiple platform partnerships to maintain the rationalization, not just from the technology, but all the go-to-market aspects of that. Understand that there are market dynamics that are involved there, but from my standpoint, it has presented an opportunity that I frankly haven't seen in my career, where I can just focus on getting my product to market, and all of the things that AWS does just elevates me. And so our organization. So I think that exclusivity we swallowed hard when we made that decision to go down that path. We had gone down a similar path with another Seattle-based organization, which didn't end well. They just didn't have the technology. It could have started, Travelocity. And frankly, we made the right choice. Maybe that was informed, maybe that was just lucky, maybe a little of both. So I would say that would be, the first thing. And then the second part is enter into the partnership as a peer. You are a peer. Yes, it's Amazon. Yes, it's an enormous organization. But if you don't come into that dialogue thinking that you're a peer, then I think you're missing an opportunity to have a much more equitable relationship.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah. Panelists, thank you very much for your time today. We really appreciate all your advice and wisdom. Thank you.